some disturbing TikToks that don't feel normal.
Once you see these clips, you'll understand why. Let's get into it.
Today, we will expose the truth on Dicenian glass. Dicenian glass is a special dye that is derived from coal tar. In 1911, a man by the name of Walter John Kilner developed a device called the Kilner screen. This screen consisted of collodion-coated, dye-treated glass plates with Dicenian dye sandwiched in the middle. In his book, The Human Atmosphere, Kilner proved that by using these two glass panes as wearable eyeglasses, the user would be able to train the eyes to perceive electromagnetic radiation outside the normal spectrum of visible light. Kilner not only proved the existence of the human aura, but also proved that by using this special dye, you can pierce the tapestry of the third dimension and gaze into the dimensions above. After Kilner published his findings, the United States swiftly stepped in. They confiscated everything and degraded the dye. Not only is Dicenian extremely hard to get a hold of, it is almost completely blacklisted from the internet.
Хорош. Найдено на дне Черного моря. Неизвестно. Как вы думаете, это настоящий? Или придуманный персонаж? Одной ноги почему-то нету. Офигеть.
Alright, so supposedly this clip came from a museum in Russia.
Yeah, so this creature was found in the Black Sea.
Interesting. Looks like a reptile.
Yeah, it almost looks like it has like a human hip bone there. Wouldn't want to run into that thing in the ocean.
Good question. If this is where we live, would you call this the outer space?
Sure.
What is it? More land? Extra territory? Extra terra?
Extraterrestrials.
Extraterrestrials from where?
Outer space.
Bingo. So why does it matter? Then when you understand that we're actually at the center of creation, this place was built for us, and we have natural law which says that nobody can take our free will away. Once you understand that nobody has control over you, you take your power back. You stop feeding this beast system that we're in. Globers think they know everything, but they don't know anything. And it's only for those that are willing to look and understand and see why it matters that get it. You know, once you get it, you can't unget it.
Is the Earth flat? Is gravity real? I don't even know what to think anymore. Could NASA be behind the biggest cover-up in human history? And what are they hiding behind Antarctica?
That video started with a clip on the television, and that picture, that clip, was actually from a newspaper article back in the, I believe, early 1900s.
Wow. And it does, like, you know, bring a whole new meaning when you think about outer space and extraterrestrial when you look at a map like that.
Palermo catacombs. Catacombs of Sicily. You think the catacombs of France are spooky? The Palermo catacombs. Very spooky.
Yeah?
But it's basically this tunnel system that these monks discovered that it preserves bodies incredibly well because of how dry it is. There's thousands of bodies that are typically standing upright.
What? Stop that
Fully
right now.
dressed. There's monks, men, women, children, but a lot of them are still wearing like military uniforms, wedding dresses, like nuns in their nunnery.
Yeah,
whatever.
that's scary. Literally walking through like a historical timeline.
They're all mummified, but there's this one. They call her the Sleeping Beauty of Palermo. She died in 1920. She was 2 years old, but her body is so well preserved that it's been over 100 years. I know in the Catholic and the Orthodox Church, a lot of them believe that there's some saints that when they die, their body just never corrodes and never corrupts. She's the most well preserved body in this catacomb. Look at the picture. 100 years old.
Dude, this is nutso.
They've done x-rays. Her organs are still intact and her brain is still preserved.
How does that happen?
That's crazy.
Imagine walking down that catacomb well lit and then just the power goes out.
A cry.
Feel your way out.
No.
You have got to see this video of a 100-pound anvil floating in mercury. And this gets into why were the Egyptians obsessed with mercury? Why did they find red mercury in different places? Why are there lakes of liquid mercury under the ancient Chinese pyramids? I don't know if you guys heard about this. Just check this out. We got to discuss it.
Here's my 110-pound iron-working anvil. Let's see the line. Right? That's what it over. It's good. The iron anvil flows because mercury has an density nearly twice that of iron. In fact, due to the density ratios, the iron actually flows better than wood does in the water. It's hard to push it out. Anybody? It floats too. That's pretty good.
Okay, so my question is, first thing, where the Sam damn did you get a whole bunch of freaking mercury? Can you just buy that? Because this could be experimented with. You know, the other thing that's interesting is when I'm talking about red mercury, it's a mythical substance. Like, there's not a lot of information on it. It's actually considered to be a myth. However, there's like ancient articles and whatnot talking about red mercury and how it has these strange properties where it could heat places with no, smoke. And this is what these ancient Tartarian buildings were said to be heated with, was red mercury. It had to do with the ether and collecting free energy with those spires on tops of all the buildings. And I'm not joking, by the way, about the Chinese pyramid, or Chinese, it was where they found those hundreds of terracotta men, the terracotta army of men that was buried underground. The major temple next to that insane historical site has a compartment underneath it of a lake of liquid mercury. Either they built the thing on top of that, or they brought that in for some reason. There may be properties to these elements which we are not told, but I can tell you they know all about, probably in the Vatican archives. Let me know your thoughts below and follow for more.
You say they found a lake of liquid mercury
He sure did.
The pyramids in China?
Yep.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. In fact, we got some videos that we made in the past in season 1 where we actually go over the red mercury, as well as this object, or this I don't know what to call it, you have to check it out, but it wouldn't show up on a mirror. You remember that one? And they had some red mercury with that.
Yeah, it wasn't showing up on a mirror, and it was like powering objects on.
Mm-hmm.
With the, I guess, the ether?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but you guys need to check it out. It's in season 1.
It was. We had 2 timelines. We had a choice. They said that there were people in power scripting the book of Revelations to bring about the end of the world. They want to do this. These religious nuts, I guess you would call it. People that are, I don't know why they want to do that.
I think it's a shadow government, and that's why they're building bunkers and all this, because they're trying to engineer the end of the world.
Yeah, and that's what she told me. That's what the beings told me. That they were trying to bring about the end of the world. And if we go that route, it would end up in Armageddon. And like the Bible says, Jesus comes back and saves the world, right? That's what I was talking about with Sean Ryan, was that timeline. But the other timeline they said was that the reset button didn't have to happen if we made the choice to seek the light and remove the darkness from and that they would help. And that's by waking us up.
And does that lead us into the 2026 event?
2026 into a time of awakening, peace, not war.
And you have been called, I know you don't like the word prophet,
right?
So let's just call it a prediction. What was the prediction that the lady made?
Well, what she told me was that it was a riddle in a way. She said when the red star of Regulus, now keep in mind, I don't know anything about astronomy. I don't know what Regulus is. She just put these words out. She said, when the red star of Regulus aligns in the gaze of the Sphinx, and she showed it to me. It looked like a little red ball. Now, Regulus is blue.
It's blue.
But she said it would appear red on the horizon just before dawn. When that happens, at that point, would mark a shift into a new knowledge and awakening of the people. Don't mean that you're going to flip the switch and we all of a sudden know that day. I think it's just the beginning of a new era, a new knowledge, and maybe that's the revealing of this, the truth of consciousness.
And this will be the Sphinx gazing at Regulus.
Yeah.
You know what constellation Regulus is in?
It's in Leo.
It's in Leo.
Isn't that crazy?
It is.
Why does the Space Force have on their badge a triangle,
right,
with the Sphinx looking up at the star?
That's funny that you mentioned that. If you look at a lot of the logos, whether it's NRO, there's all this Egyptian iconography on them.
Yeah.
It makes me think they know something we don't know.
Oh, they do.
They do.
They do. I can tell you they do.
That is a good question. Why does the space station have a badge with the Sphinx on it looking up at the stars?
They love to play with the symbols.
Do you think they got the same information that Chris had through Looking Glass?
Morpheus holds up the battery in the Matrix and he says, "We are the source of energy." I finally understand what you mean. When the guys made the Matrix, they knew exactly what they were talking about. Wherever they got their information from is very, very interesting. Once you realize what's going on, we go, oh my God, we are so bloody dumb. The manipulated history that we find seems to be created and recreated for us on an ongoing basis. And this is what's becoming a little disturbing, but at the same time not surprising, what's going on here. There are places that we don't know about, that we should know about, like the Towers of Bologna in Italy. This is a drawing from the 1700s. How many of you have seen the Towers of Bologna? That until 200 years ago, the city of Bologna had more than 200 towers, up to 50 meters tall. They're all gone. And then suddenly you start stumbling upon an empire that until the late 1800s was a well-known empire across the world. You look at the old maps and you see the Tartarian Empire, one of the most important global empires, and then suddenly gone. We hear nothing about Tartary and the Tartarian Empire and what happened to them. And you start seeing that history is literally changing right under our eyes. Recent history, it's like just being wiped out. We know nothing about it. It is weird, people. Things are getting really freaky and very, very weird. And you see evidence of these things all over the place. You see very large buildings that, with the 2 or 3 bottom floors are just completely covered in mud, and then they just leave them like that, and they create the entrance on the higher floors to that same building. The reason I'm bringing this up is that if the news that we have coming from the media is fake, imagine how wrong all of our history is. And all of this, the fake news and this potentially fake history, is just adding to the great human puzzle and making us even more confused about who we are, where we come from, and why we're here.
And this is what it's all about. It's about us all waking up, which means unlearning what we've been taught and relearning things that match up with the truth.
You guys understanding this? You guys liking it? If so, give us a thumbs up.
Con el instrumento, ¿no? Porque recordemos que la flauta es un instrumento ancestral. Digo, venga, vamos a ver qué pasa.
Now this is a very beautiful video. You can see how the trees, they calm down when they hear the high vibrations and the sounds that he's playing through the flute. It reminds me of this right here. Calm, chill, high vibrations. Now, Nikola Tesla famously stated, if you wish to understand the secrets of the universe, then think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. That's exactly what you're seeing here with the baby, with the leaves. It's energy, frequency, and vibration. Nature responds, we respond, our cells respond. This is how we heal the body on a cellular level. Everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. When we start to tap into this, that's when we start to take our true power back. All of our wisest ancestors knew this. They built everything with this in mind: sound, frequency, and vibration. All the cathedrals that were built, all these old structures and building, that's what it was. So, love you guys. Peace and love.
That was really interesting how loud the forest was before he started playing his flute music. And not just the sound calmed down, but even like the movement of the trees with the wind, everything just went still.
Yeah. All the elements just kind of calmed down.
Yeah.
Relax.
It did have an effect on nature. Just like those other videos we've watched where somebody will play this instrument for animals and animals will just come walking up to them from being in a field. So it really is true that the world responds to frequency, vibrations.
And that's why they were using this back in the days to heal people, using frequencies. I remember the one guy that created some sort of box that had frequency sounds going into it. He placed a lady in there and several others, and these individuals had some illnesses, and I believe like 97 to 98% of them actually got healed.
That is amazing.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you know, diseases come from being at, what was it? Dis-ease. So
Maybe that's the real reason why they got rid of all the bells.
Which that's a whole nother video right there. If you guys know, you know.
And we may bring up, we may find one of those clips to review in our next episode. So make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned.
Those 3D glasses that are red on one side and blue on the other, and you get them in movie theaters. He cut them up so that the lenses were separate, and he stapled them together, and he taped it on top of his lens for his iPhone. And what that did, I'm not sure he understood how that was happening, what was going on, but he somehow knew to do that. I don't know how he knew to do that without knowing what he was doing, but he taped them on top of the lens. The red lets in infrared. The red and the blue together blocks out almost all visible light. And so the light that can get through is going to be the infrared stuff. There's not much ultraviolet light in the atmosphere, so it's really mostly infrared. And so what happens is the phone gears up its automatic gain control to try to get any light what at all. But there is no visible light that's coming in because of the red and the blue together. So what he ends up getting is mostly the ultraviolet, mostly the infrared. Mm-hmm. And he started taking videos with his iPhone with this makeshift thing of the Washington, D.C. area, and he started to get a whole bunch of UFOs. Interesting configurations, different shapes and everything. So the Washington, D.C. area was like filled with them. And these were things on demand, any 10-minute period that he would do it. He came to us with Excel spreadsheets, which had aeronautical data, all types of everything, the analysis of it, how you analyze distance, speed, size, everything. And then he came to us with recommendations for things he didn't even have. He said, what you need is a GH6 camera. He didn't even have one, but he knew we needed a GH6. And he knew that we needed to send it to a specific company called lifepixel.com, to have it converted. Now, there are other places that do conversion. What they do is they take the sensor, and the sensor of all cameras has a glass filter on top of it that blocks out infrared and ultraviolet, because you don't want that in your images. However, that glass filter on top of the sensor has to be removed. Once you take the filter off of the sensor, you have to put another filter on top of the lens. He knew all about that. He didn't have any of that, but he knew all about that. And to tune into the bandwidth that you want in the electromagnetic spectrum to get the exact infrared spectrum part that you want. And so then he showed us a lot of videos on our big screen in our own office, standing up with a laser pointer and everything, showing the videos of these UFOs that were very clearly UFOs. Mm-hmm. And then he also talked about the frame rate issue because they go so fast. The thing about the GH6, why it was unusual, is you have to shoot wide angle because you can't see these things. They're invisible, both because of some stealth technology that you can see them only in infrared, and secondly, they're going 20,000 miles an hour. So it could be the size of the Titanic. You're not going to see it if it's 20,000 miles an hour. So we shot it at 120 frames a second. It was like, this is one of those experiences you have only once or twice in your whole life. You do something first time out, and like, it's right in front of you. In 10 minutes, we had like 30, 40 UFOs right over my house. Mm-hmm. And some of them were huge. And they were swooping down like Star Wars jet, like Star Wars TIE fighters.
Also reminds me of that movie They Live. Remember that one, guys?
You put the glasses on and could see the reptilians.
Mm-hmm.
But with this one, you could see the UFOs. I want to know how many of you guys are going to try this out. And if you do, let us know what you see.
What the hell is this? So Jeffrey Epstein now has a verified account on TikTok with 1.2 million followers. And in case you didn't know, getting verified on TikTok isn't like it is on other social media platforms. You still have to provide IDs such as a driver's license or a passport, but they have a bunch of other steps. And unlike other platforms, it's not pay to play. You can't buy verification, and they're very selective about who they allow to get verified. Also, if you're a verified account and you change your name, they take away your verification. And whoever's running this account is only following 2 people, Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump, which I think is fucking amazing. But like every single video on here has millions of views, and it's generally of islands. This is the only new video they have with Epstein in it, and when you look at it up close, it's pretty obviously AI. Still, some people do believe that this is an actual account run by the actual Epstein, while others are saying that this is just a psyop to desensitize us and rub it in our faces. But what do y'all think is going on here? Let me know down in the comments.
I mean, it could be a psyop, but you still have to have that ID to get verified.
Bingo.
I know that the Nephilims are the ones that are keeping us locked. And let me tell you what I understand. They are the Egyptians. They're everything, because y'all don't understand what they understood. They was here so long, they learned how to manipulate energy.
Yes, they can change their physical form.
Yes.
They can walk in and out of this dimension.
Right.
And that's what people are ignoring, because these piece of shit pastors won't tell people that it's not just one God.
Right.
And that's the whole issue. So when you see Congressional Rep Luna, Tim Burchett, having whistleblower meetings and they speak about a galactic federation, that's the same thing in Psalm 82 about this divine council of gods.
Right.
So I believe there are multiple gods. Some of them demand worship. Some of them demand sacrifice. And the more powerful ones don't don't intervene directly, but subconsciously.
People that did this to both me.
For neurodivergent.
I'm saying that there are people that were the people that did this to both me and Corey that are still working. They're still out there, and they're some of the richest, most powerful people in this business.
And they are.
And they do not want me saying what I'm saying right now.
Are you saying that they're pedophiles?
Yes.
And that they're still in this business?
Yes.
That's what. Yeah, and that's what you're saying in your book. When you talk to parents
Here right now.
Corey, there are a lot of parents out here who want to put their kids in this business. Their kids are cute, they're great actors. What would you say to a parent who just has the best of intentions, who's coming here with their child? If you're saying that there's a lot of predators in this industry.
It's a many-feathered bird. Okay? Be careful what you wish for. That's what I'll tell you. You know, don't go into it with naivety. Don't go into it thinking that it's all roses and sunglasses.
You're damaging an entire industry.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to say that it's a very important, serious topic.
You said that there was one gentleman in the industry who did not take advantage of you. He was not a pedophile. You said it was Michael Jackson.
How many years they looked at that guy like he was nuts?
Wow. This is Corey's moment of justice.
I bet he is feeling justice.
Did you catch how Barbara Walters said, you're damaging an entire industry?
Mm-hmm.
Like, in one ear and out the other on the other shit he just said.
She was in the game for a long time, too.
She knew what was up.
Yep.
Beyonce should never have posted this photo yesterday. We haven't seen her for months because something very strange about Beyonce is starting to resurface. For the past few months, Beyonce and Jay-Z have become extremely silent, but that silence is raising a lot of questions. We already know that Jay-Z reportedly left the United States when certain files started coming out. You know exactly which files I'm talking about. And according to several people, he supposedly left the very same night those revelations started circulating, almost like he had to leave to protect himself. But what's strange is that Beyonce stayed in the United States, and that's exactly what changes everything. Her latest Instagram post shows Beyonce sitting at a table eating a cheeseburger. In the photo, you can see an American flag next to her, and at first glance, everything looks normal. Beyonce is dressed elegantly, like always, but there's a subtle message that immediately caught people's attention. In the files linked to Jeffrey Epstein, the word that appeared the most was cheeseburger, and you already know it wasn't being used to talk about actual burgers, but something much darker. And that's when some people started asking a disturbing question. Is this photo just a normal post, or is it a hidden message? The comments immediately exploded under the post. A lot of people started asking why she posted it and what it was really supposed to mean, but Beyonce never responded. And the strangest part is that some internet users claim that certain details in the photo may have been edited or removed since it was first posted. Some people believe this photo might be her way of showing support for what recently happened without openly saying it.
I don't know, guys. You think Beyonce's trying to tell us something with that cheeseburger?
Look, if you're part of a crew or a group of people, a club, and there's a code talk going around, and then you decide to make a post with just a picture, you sitting there with a burger,
right?
And cheeseburger was a code word used in a list.
Just go ahead and pose it at cheeseburger, and we'll give you another 10 years of fame and fortune.
Was she brave, or was that just plain out stupidity?
They said I was a clone.
that made me flip in the hospital. That's it. These motherfuckers is trying to clone me. I didn't have a stroke. So I'm sitting in the hospital bed like these, and then I saw me walk into my room. But I'm white, so I see the white me.
But he had a Caesar too, just
not
like you?
all that. The white me,
Okay, gotcha.
and I'm like, and I'm trying to get their attention, and no one said anything, and I'm like, that's it.
I'm sure there's nothing to see there. I'm sure Jamie Foxx was just being sarcastic. He was just joking about how they tried to clone him, right? But there are a lot of weird things. For instance, where did his head tattoo go? And you've got to admit that he looked very different when he got out of the hospital. I guess that's why he starred in a movie like this right here, because he was telling you truth in plain sight. Or even the fact that he starred in a movie like this, and look at this poster right here. A coffin shape, I mean, come on. But again, I guess Jamie Foxx was just joking in that clip because again, that's what he does. It's good to see that he's doing so good. What do you think about this? It's always truth in plain sight. Wake up.
I mean, haven't you guys noticed by now? It's always about the jokes.
Too many signs, too many coincidences to not be legit.
I mean, he's hanging out with all of his peers telling a story. He looks pretty comfortable. He's saying how he thought he had a stroke, but he had heard that they said they cloned him.
The elites have made people worship the same thing that they worship. Time. Saturn. Father Time. Because the elites don't want to die. They've built their kingdom here on Earth. If they die, they have to reset. Which means they do everything they can to remain alive in the physical body. Because they love the 3D reality. They love the pleasures of this world and the power that they have. But when they die, they have none of that. So they do everything they can to preserve their time. Time is your true currency. That's why you say you spend time.
Heard some weird stuff on our show. People say shapeshift.
Yes, the yellow snake eyes with the vertical slits.
Really?
Yes, I've seen that many times. That's not uncommon.
So their eyes have physically changed to like a reptilian.
Oh yeah, they slither on the floor like a snake. Their body's moving like a snake. It's not just somebody like rolling around. They can defy the natural law, climbing a 20-foot wall like a squirrel.
I mean, how often does this happen?
Well, I've only seen that once, but they have that power. That didn't change when they rebelled. Their interior motivation changed, that now they hate God and they want to wreak havoc on his children, which is us.
So I got two cups. I got one for you and I got this cup. Like what this cup do is get wealth, right? Because like everybody run around working for money, so I sacrifice it. I turn it up in it, right? Give money no power, right? And then you put copper in there, and what copper do is gonna give information to the water, because water is conscious. And then the copper in there gonna make it a magnet. You gonna be kind of like a magnet for money. That's how I got here and get y'all money, because it is. If I wouldn't got this, y'all never would have booked me, right? But I'm gonna put some of y'all money right in here too. But it's conscious, water is conscious. I'm gonna tell you how I know. You can talk to water. You can tell water, I love you, put it in the freezer, tell water, fuck you, and put it in the freezer. That both of the water's gonna be different because the water hold consciousness, and they can take pictures. If I put this in front of this picture, water in front of the picture, and you go freeze it, that picture gonna show in that water. The exact same thing. Water holds consciousness. Water is conscious. Gang. A lot of people.
I mean, hey, that might be a good idea right there. If you can program water with negative and positive words, imagine putting some money in there as well with copper.
Well, you know, your words have power. So I've seen in videos before, he's not bullshitting. I have heard about that. You can actually put rice in two bowls and speak life upon one and speak hate upon the other one.
Right.
And you're going to notice, or they've noticed in studies, that the one that they spoke negative to actually molded.
Yep.
While the other jar that had rice, where they spoke life and they spoke love over, it was just still fine.
Yep. They've done experiments on water, on rice, on bread, but I've never heard it done on money before.
Yeah. Hey, what's your thoughts on that one?
We have only bits and pieces of information, but what we know for certain is that at some point in the early 21st century, all of mankind was united in celebration. We marveled at our own magnificence as we gave birth to AI.
AI. You mean artificial intelligence?
A singular consciousness that spawned an entire race of machines. We don't know who struck first, us or them, but we know that it was us that scorched the sky.
Once again, like I said in the previous video, your words have power, right?
Yeah.
Your thoughts have power. So they're just using your powers on you. And they've got you believing stories that suppress your abilities and your gifts. And then they go through a whole nother avenue and they use it upon you, and they use it for their little, I don't know, guilty pleasures.
Also, too, it just is an eye-opener that just because it's in languages you may not understand or we don't understand doesn't mean that there's not more to that, as well as the symbolism.
As they once said in the movie, there's more than meets the eye.
Big time.
Space was made to hide the truth about yourself. You don't look into reality. Light enters the eye and the image is produced in the visual cortex of the brain. You touch, taste, hear, smell, and see with your brain. The body produces a simulation. The world is actually inside of you. The heliocentric model has placed this visual field of the eyes in the model to hide the fact that your body is pretty much its own universe. Your thoughts and emotions are like commands which project that reality. Even the Egyptians symbolized the visual field. Jesus says, "I am the light of the world." The I am within you, because consciousness creates matter. You are projecting your own reality. Jesus symbolizes the essence in each individual. Whatever you see collapses light waves into matter. Like a video game, when your consciousness interacts with the certain part, it will load in. Because your body is technology. Spirit interacts with matter through the 5 senses. This is why you have 5 fingers, 5 toes on each hand and feet. 5 points on your body, because 5 is the number of experience and the gateway between spirit and matter. Heaven is consciousness, which is the base reality. This world you are in now is the effect of mind. Humans are the most advanced beings because we have the opportunity to understand God. No other animal can. We can expand our minds into infinite fields of knowledge. Lucifer is the false light, which is this world that produces the visual field in the brain.
And if you guys want to check out this book, it's called The Book of Wisdom. I'll go ahead and I'll drop the link below in the description.
Welcome to the fucking show.